Hey guys, it's your boy Killer Kill 360 back with another What If. And today I'm doing What If I Was in High School DxD. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit different from the standard high school DxD because Issei is not going to be in the story. Instead of Issei, I'm in the story and I'm going to have a whole different power set. So yeah, let's get into the story. So the story starts off like this. Call all of the four horsemen. Bring them to us right now, says one of the higher ups in the hierarchy of the gods. So the four horsemen are summoned. Why have you been summoned? What is going on? As the higher ups talk. Well, quite frankly, we don't need you anymore. Y'all did what y'all had to do. And what you mean by that, says Death. And all the horsemen get ready for fight. Well, quite frankly, y'all getting too powerful. Y'all must be eliminated to keep the balance, says one of the higher ups. And war is like bullshit as they get into a huge battle with the angels, everybody. And the angels and the devils and everybody team up against the four horsemen to kill them off, to wipe them from history. And the first one to die is Death. As all the other four horsemen is like, no! As we head in the story, eons later down the line, modern technology is a thing. So, we cut to when I wake up to get ready from school. And I head off and I take the bus to my school and I meet my friends on the bus as we're all having a good time. And out of nowhere, tragedy struck. A drunk driver with an 18-wheeler truck crashes into the bus, killing everybody but me. By some miracle, I'm still alive, but I'm knocked out. As the doctors are taking me to the emergency room, they realize that I'm not injured. They're like, what the hell is this? Like, how did he get hurt by this collision? It was horrific. As my dad comes in the doctor room as I'm sleeping because I'm knocked out. A couple of years later, as now I'm in high school now, age 17. So I'm heading over to school, and over these last few years, my perception and my awareness is crazy. Like, I can see things before it happens, and I can't understand why. And not just that, I'm physically much stronger than I should be. And honestly, I don't know what's going on with my body. As we cut off in the distance, we see a fallen angel. And she's like, what's up with him? He's different. There's some weird aura coming off of him. Otherworldly aura. Something like he's a, a symbolic creature or something. He's odd for a human. As I feel somebody watching me, and I happen to look in that direction, but there's nobody there. Must have been a cat or something. Whatever. As I head in school, and I'm just walking inside the school, I'm more of a loner type of person. Since incident that happened to me, I don't want to get too close to people like that no more. So, I noticed a red-haired chick that's in the window. Oh, interesting. Never seen her like that. As I walk into class, as we know her as Rias, she's like, he's weird. What's going on? I could sense something coming off of him. Is he a threat to us? As she asks Panico to keep an eye on me. She's like, alright. So I'm just chilling in class, not really paying attention. And I fall asleep in class as the teacher asks me to answer the question, thinking that I wouldn't know the question. As I woke up to the board and I solved it just like that. Even the teacher's like, "What? He was asleep. How did he know the exact thing to do?" Uh, this stuff is pretty easy for me to do. As everybody's like, "What?" Because everybody has this image of me of being a delinquent, you know? I'm like, I just choose not to show my intelligence because it brings too much attention. As you see now, y'all all look dumbfounded right now. As they close their mouth and turn the other way. And the teacher's like, I won't be able to, I'm never doing that shit again. You made me look like, you made me so stupid just now. Anyway, class, let's continue. As the day goes by, and I'm walking home. Everything's over. Everybody left. As I'm walking home, this girl comes behind me, and I'm like, hmm? She's like, well, I'm like, what is it? My name is Rainier, and I'm like, okay, what's up? And she talks to me. She introduced herself and all that, and I'm like, okay, why did you stop me anyway? Well, I wanted to say is I like you a lot. Would you be my boyfriend? Says Rainier. In my head, I'm like, this is random. I never had a female walk up to me and ask me out. But hey, she's kind of hot, so I say, yeah, no problem. You're cute, you're pretty, I like your long hair. And I'm looking at her figure, I'm like, yeah, she bad, she bad, she bad. I say that all in my head. So I was like, yeah, so when you want to go on a date? Next week? She's like, okay, next week is fine. I'm like, alright. As, I hug her and we leave. Sorry about that, guys. So, I'm in my room as I fade into deep consciousness. My mom calls me to eat dinner, but I'm like, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. So, I fade into deep consciousness. Hey, boy, wake up, boy. I'm like, what the hell? As I wake up and then I see this undead person. I'm like, holy crap, it's an undead person. What the hell? He's like, shut up. It's not that serious. I'm not gonna kill you, anything like that. I'm like, you're a zombie. He's like, no, I'm not. Sit down. As I have a seat. Still can't believe like an undead person is talking to me. He's like, boy, you're gonna be strapped in for a long ride. As he explains what he is, he's a Nephilim, one of the four horsemen of death. As he explained it to me, well, seems to me you're my reincarnation, boy. And I'm like, that explains why I didn't die at that accident. Yeah, you're impervious to normal things like that. It takes a lot more than a bus to kill you, a crash like that to kill you. As I get a little tilted by that, I lost my friends because of that. If I knew I had these powers, maybe I could have did something. Well, kid, it's not your fault. Your powers just started awakening. And by the time that happened, it was already too late. I'm sorry for your loss, but you gotta toughen up now. You got much bigger fish to fry now. A lot more threats is gonna come your way. And I'm like, what you mean by that? Well, the devils, I don't know how they are in this dimension, and the angels, but they really hate the four horsemen. As I raised my eyebrows, so this is why you came here to tell me this, huh? Yeah, keep on your toes. Don't drop your guard. Don't get too comfortable. I don't know exactly how it is in this dimension, but I noticed that the wars between different factions have ceased. But there's some out there that still, you know, messing the balance up. As I nod my head, I'm like, I understand. So what happens if I come across good people, good devils and stuff like that? Well, as long as they don't stab you in your back, I don't have a problem. but the ones that are doing corruption, kill them all. As I nod my head. So a week goes by. Me and Rainier is on our date now. As the day is going on, I'm chilling with Rainier. Everything's going well. And unlike Issei, I'm a little bit more aggressive. So I put my arms around her neck and I go in for a kiss. She's like, shocked that, I'm with it like that. Like I'm like that. And as me and her tongue kissing, she's like, well, can you answer me a question? I'm like, yeah, what? You really like me, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm like you. What's up? She's like, oh, okay, you really like me, right? I'm like, yeah. As she whispers in my ear, are you willing to die for me? As I'm like, what? And then she stabs me right in my chest, right? I'm like, oh, why you do that? Why? You have something that I want. And I'm faking at this point. And I start laughing. What is so funny? Rainier says. You stupid bitch. Good thing I realized something was up with you. I was just waiting for you to act. Wait, this whole time you knew my plans? Yeah, it was pretty obvious. You approached me. You should have did a different way. I knew something was off with you. As I started laughing, as Death is like, well, she's a fallen angel. You can kill her. Like, with pleasure. Rune Scythe. As I summon my Rune Scythe. She's like, what the hell are you? And I just throw my Rune Scythe right at her neck. She dodges it, luckily. As it cuts her right on her face. Not bad, not bad, not bad. And then as I put my finger up in the air, I call my Rune Scythe right back as it stabs her right in her back. And she's bleeding out. And I'm like, I knew something was up with you. She's like, please spare me. As I'm like, no, because it was the other way around. You wouldn't do it. As I cut her arm off. As Rias and her people comes with her. And they're like, whoa, what the hell? It looks like he handled the situation himself. She's like, quiet. As I woke up to Rainier again. What is that? You want me to stop? As I cut her leg off. She's screaming in agony. And I'm like, well, see, this is what you get. You fuck with the wrong person. And look at you now. But she's like, where did you get this power from? I don't know. It's all new to me. But I knew something was off with you. And plus, my powers work with me. It told me you was really bad. As I'm being inconspicuous because I know Rias is known as there. I don't want to say I'm part of the Four Horsemen. As I'm like, you know what? I don't want to hear you screaming no more. And I put the scythe by her neck and pull it up. And her head is decapitated. And I'm like, I know y'all guys is there. As Rias and them are shocked, I'm like, y'all might as well come down. I don't bite. And Rias and them come down. They're like, Akino's interested, She's like, what is he? Fallen angel trash. As Rias asks me questions, what are you? How did you take down an angel? We all thought you... How did you do that? Well, I'm a demon hunter. I use that as my alias. And Death is like, really, bro? A demon hunter? Shut up. I couldn't think of anything on the spot just now. Just shut up. As he laughs, but it's like interesting demon hunter, really. What are we, some edgelords now? And I'm like the person who's the incarnation of death. Shouldn't be talking. As you know, Ria's is wondering like, how did I do that? And I explained to her what I gave her a fake backstory and stuff like that. She buys it. Akino's a little iffy on that. She's like, nah, something's off with him. As I'm like, well, it's crazy to know that. Well, just know, I know what y'all guys are. As I leave, and Ria's, and she talks to her entourage. She's like, Akino, keep an eye on him. With pleasure, says Akino. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Duff. I couldn't say, I'm part of the Four Horsemen. You don't understand why, right? He's like, yeah, that was a smart move, but really a demon hunter, bro? Really, bro? I'm like, sorry. He's like, oh, whatever. Anyway, they boarded. That's what matters. But kid, tomorrow you're gonna have to train to keep your stamina up. I notice your body is not up to par. Yeah, it's really not. As tomorrow you be starting your training and head over to the waterfalls. Understand? As I get my rest. And the next morning I head over where the waterfalls are. And he's like, well, swim. Swim in the waterfall. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm gonna drown. Just do what I say. I'm like, if I die, it's on you. He's like, you're not gonna die. Just swim. As I'm swimming, and he's like, yeah, swim upstream. Fight against her. So as I'm doing that, and I'm not really paying attention to my surroundings. So after I'm done swimming upstream, I'm like, whoa, I can't believe I actually did that. As I sense something, and Akino is like, oh yeah, you're not no ordinary human. I'm like, what the hell did she get here? She's like, I have so many questions. But guys, I'm gonna end it off here. Sorry I have to, you know, like throw a cliffhanger, but yeah, just tell me how y'all feel about this what if. Tell me if y'all want more. I can always make a part 2, guys. Just let me know. Yeah, so tell me what y'all think about this. Should I continue this or nah? But peace, guys.
Make way for the thunder god, fuck the ops. I came with a thunder shot. I'll show man now that my gloves are off. I put my hand on the man, they become the boss. Fuck the loss. Rifles plus the bomb. Should have seen what the wee team done to Fox. This mega man didn't come with songs. I throw fists at a man like Donkey Kong. What's he on? Try fucking with Pika. Fire Emblem bring nothing but evil. Holler up Marvel, cut him like peace. I'm a lightning bolts, then shook him like seizures. Yeah, big shank like Sephiroth. One swing to the arms, I'll take him off. Man, I fly like an arm, big venomous. But I'm still going in hard like Metapon. Fire with a punch like Mario. Push man, get tummed like Adios. Ice climbers, I'm done with the barrios.